Hello and welcome. In this how-to video, we're going to be working on the flexibility of our ankles and our calves. So oftentimes if we find ourselves running or hiking or doing something new with our legs, we will often forget to stretch out our calves and our ankles. So taking the next few moments to really focus maybe your intention on that part of your body as we go through these next few poses. So to begin, we'll start in our hero's toe stretch. So coming on to your knees and then tucking under the toes, bringing the heels together, making sure the knees are together, and then sitting back onto the heels. So really feeling this nice stretch through the toes. You should feel this all the way up into your ankles here. Maybe even feeling a nice little stretch through the quads as well. So if it's too much with your hands off of the ground, you can always place them back down. You can always readjust your feet or your toes, really just making sure that the toes are pressing into the ground. If it's available, bringing your hands onto your thighs. Maybe closing off the eyes. Using your breath here. So inhaling through the nose. Exhaling, releasing it out. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling, releasing this breath. We'll take one more breath. If you feel that you want to stay in this pose for a longer period, you can always pause this and do an extended hold. So taking one more breath. As you exhale, gently easing off of this. So guiding the toes back onto the ground. And then just placing your hands behind you. We're going to lift, just gently lifting the knees. So stretching through the fronts of the feet. If this is too much, just gently placing the knees on the ground and just feeling this little extension. So again, if it's possible, maybe just lifting the knees a little bit. And then gently releasing down. So coming onto all fours, extending through the right leg. Placing the toes into the ground, we'll rock forwards and backwards. Feeling this extension through the ankle. So making sure you have a nice foundation with your wrists. Maybe using this to warm up through the wrists as well. So really feeling this through the back of your leg, all the way down, through the foot, through the ankle. As you rock forwards and backwards. Taking this as a nice counter stretch to that toe stretch. Taking about 3 more. And then gently guiding this knee back in. So inhaling as you extend out through the left leg. Placing the toes into the ground and then rocking forwards and backwards. Moving at your pace. So really feeling this through the foot, through the entire backside of the leg. Taking about 3 more. And then gently guiding back in that knee. So tucking under both toes, lifting through the hips, finding your downward dog. Taking any movement you want here, so maybe pedaling out through the feet. Maybe staying on one side, so really bending through one knee, lengthening through the other. Feeling this nice stretch through the entire backside of the leg. Really focusing on sending this heel into the ground. And then switching sides, so bending through the opposite knee. Really lengthening through this leg. Imagining your heel is growing down into the ground. Feeling this lengthening through your leg. Then we're going to take 3 bends with both legs. So grounding down, spreading through your fingers here. Sending the energy up through your arms and down your legs. Then inhaling through your nose as you exhale, bending into your knees, bending both knees. Inhaling, lengthening through the legs. Exhaling, bending. One more time, inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, bending. So maybe you're able to do this on one leg. So placing the other leg, just floating it into the air, or you can always wrap the foot onto the other leg. So inhaling, bending. Exhaling, lengthening. Inhaling, bending. Exhaling, lengthening. One more time on this side. Inhaling, bending, really feeling this nice stretch through the Achilles. Exhaling, lengthening, switching sides. So planting down maybe your left foot or the opposite foot. Inhaling, bending. Exhaling, lengthening. Inhaling, bending. Exhaling, lengthening. One more time. Inhale, bend. And exhale, lengthen. So inhaling, we're going to step forward with the right foot, keeping both feet facing forwards. So coming into our pyramid, making sure both hips are facing forward, really squaring off through the hips here. Feeling this nice stretch through the back leg, as well as through the front hamstring. Maybe lifting your back foot up and then releasing it down. So we'll do that 3 times. Inhaling, lifting the back foot, lifting, rising up through the heel. Exhaling, releasing it down. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, releasing it down. We're going to do that lifting our front foot. So inhaling, flexing the foot. Exhaling, returning the toes to the ground. Inhale, flex the foot up. Exhale, return it down. One more time. Inhaling, flexing those toes. Really, can you lift a little bit higher? Can you square off through that hip? And then exhaling. As we bend into this knee, and then just placing the back knee onto the ground. We're going to come into our half split. So being up on this back knee, lengthening through this front leg. Feeling this stretch through the hamstring, but also into the ankle. So flexing through this foot. We're going to take this, so pointing the foot, and then flexing it. Really feeling this nice stretch through the back of the leg. Inhaling, pointing the foot. Exhaling, flexing the toes towards the ceiling. Really squaring off through the hips here. One more time. Inhaling, pointing. Exhaling, flexing this foot. Holding it for 3, for 2, for 1. Gently easing off, finding your downward dog. Maybe feeling the difference from one leg to the other. And then inhaling, stepping forward with the left foot. So lining up the feet, both feet are facing forward, squaring off through the hips here. So finding this pyramid position. And then we'll take those lifts with the back foot. So inhaling, rising up onto the toes, lifting through the heel. Exhaling down. Inhaling, rising the heel up. Exhaling down. Really lengthening through this leg, feeling the stretch through the ankle. Inhaling, rising up onto the toes. Exhaling down. Lifting through the front foot. So inhaling, rising the toes up, flexing through this foot. Exhaling the foot down. Inhaling, toes lift up. Exhaling down. One more time, inhaling up. Exhaling, toes back down. As you bend into this front foot, bend into the front knee, and then gently placing the back knee down. So shifting the hips back, lengthening through this leg, coming into your half split. Really squaring off through the hips here. Sending the toes up to the ceiling. Really feeling this lengthening through the hamstring. But using this intention to really feel it into the Achilles as well. Inhaling, pointing this foot. Exhaling, flexing the toes. Inhaling, pointing. Exhaling, flexing. One more time. Inhaling, pointing. Exhaling as you guide the toes up to the ceiling. Holding it for 3, for 2, for 1. Gently coming out of the stepping back into your downward dog. And then we're going to bring both feet to the outside edges of the mat. So walking the feet in and then sitting down into our yogi squat. So trying to have the heels down. If this is a little bit difficult, you can also widen the stance. If you have a block or anything nearby, you can also place it underneath the heels if your heels cannot touch the ground. So taking this stretch, as we're opening up through the hips, we're also really opening up through the ankles. So if it's available, maybe you can float your hands, bring the palms together at the heart center. Maybe try to grow taller, longer through the spine. If you need to keep your hands down, that's also fine. Just being mindful to really try to guide the heels down, to open up through these ankles. Taking any little variation you want here, maybe opening up, so pressing one hand into the knee, kind of leaning towards one side. Maybe you feel this intensify through one ankle. And then easing off, so placing the other hand on the ground, other hand on the thigh as you lean into your opposite side. Gently coming back to center. And then extending through the hips. So lengthening through the hips. As you heel toe the feet together, taking your standing forward fold. So you can have a nice bend in the knees if you need to, or extending through the legs. Taking any standing forward fold variation that you want. So if it's available, maybe you want to go for placing the backs of the hands onto the ground. Really able to lengthen through your spine here. Feeling this through the hamstrings, through the ankles. A nice stretch for the calves. If this is too much with the hands underneath, you can always go for the peace fingers 2-piece fingers underneath the big toes. Or again, you're welcome to place the hands just onto the ground or onto the ankles. If your lower back is feeling this, maybe taking a slight bend through the knees. Taking one more breath. And then gently finding your way into a comfortable seated position. Bringing the hands together. Being grateful for this time you took for yourself. Bringing your intention back to your ankles, back to your calves. Namaste.